Welcome on in to your Wednesday, November 5th, and hope you are doing well. Brian Wilson, of course, joins us this time every single Wednesday. Brian, how are you this morning?
We're doing very well, and beautiful day on tap. I'm looking out my window and just saying, man, beautiful fall day, blue skies, all's right with the world.
You know, Brian, when you did mornings all those years, I don't know about you, but I like this time of year because it gets darker earlier, and I don't feel guilty for going to bed so early.
Yeah, when you're on that shift, it works out pretty well for you, I think.
All right, so let's talk about what happened in Virginia, California, New Jersey, and New York.
Well, give them their due. They had a good night, the Dems did. It's not surprising. And it's not a bellwether, and it's not a big blue wave. It is absolutely predictable that in an off-year election, not even a midterm election, off year, which generally don't get a lot of attention anyway, who are the people that are likely to go to the polls and cast their ballots? People who are angry. I mean, they're motivated by anger. Now, I just think about it. If you're angry about something and you're all riled up and you have a chance to do something about it, chances are you're going to act on that anger. If you're happy with the way things are going, you just sort of don't pay that much attention. It's good. Everything's right. It's good. So the motivated, angry people are the ones who are going to go to the polls in an off-year election, and that's all this really is. The Federalist, I think, got it right. Which voters are reacting? Very motivated, angry, Trump-hating Democrats in very blue states. A good many of them would like to see the president dead. Think about this. Yep. 55% of Democrats say they're okay with, political violence.
Assassination culture.
And assassination, yeah. Yep. So that's the hatred, the level of hatred they have. Give them their due. They had a good day. It's completely predictable, and low turnout elections, although some of these were not really particularly low turnout elections, but traditionally these off-year elections are very low, and the people who dominate them are the people who are angry. And right now, Democrats are angry. And we're sort of just, hey, everything's good. On our side, we think everything's great. So the end result is they're going to crow. They're going to try to make this a bigger deal. They're going to try to claim that it's more than it really is. And I wouldn't do that. And unfortunately, I think the side thing to this is that they're going to be a little harder now to come off of this whole government shutdown thing. They're going to feel vindicated. And so it may be a while before we see the government reopen.
So let's talk real quick. Earlier I was talking about how Virginia, California, New Jersey, New York, they all voted for Trump. And so I think these are the states, some of the few, actually, that voted for Kamala Harris.
Why did that happen? And again, I'll just go back to the same thing I just talked about with the Democrats. The Democrats now are angry. We were angry in the last election, and we did something about it. When you're angry, you're motivated, and we were angry at the way things were deteriorating. Look, here's the thing. I don't know about Cheryl in New Jersey and Spanberger in Virginia, but everybody's going to be watching Zoran Mondani, and we're going to be looking at him very closely. And at the end of the day, I don't think the man is up to the task of governing a city that basically is 1/10 of the American economy.
One of the things when we talk about Mamdani, a lot of people saying they're going to leave New York. They're going to come to places like Daily Mail had a story that Tennessee is one of those places that New Yorkers will be fleeing.
And that's, again, part of it. I mean, what happens is when you get divided like this, people who are angry about the situation in New York City today, are they going to stick it out and fight it? No, they're just going to leave.
Well, that's the question. Do you
and then you become more blue. It becomes a more blue state.
Well, yeah, illegal aliens will be flocking to New York, no doubt.
48%. I saw the stunning statistic about New York City. One of the boroughs, I think it was on Fox, they were pointing out, the makeup, the demographics of the different 5 boroughs. Some of these boroughs, nearly 50% of the people who live there are foreigners.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't understand that the sin of voting in a communist. And
well, so you're going to vote for people will. It's not surprising that angry blue voters in blue states who have been promised a bunch of free stuff are going to vote for Democrats. It's just not shocking. It should be very predictable. But I have a feeling that it will wear very thin, especially in New York City, because I don't think that guy's up to the task of running a city the size of New York.
Well, he's never had a job, really.
Yeah, I know.
But this
is his first real job. Isn't that something?
Exactly. And I guess, part of my commentary this morning is just, kind of like you. I'm not worried about this. Virginia, California, New Jersey, and New York, they all voted for Kamala Harris. And the other thing is that Mamdani, I got to get this
it's
right.
hard. I do the same thing. Yeah. I keep wanting to call him Mamdani.
Yeah, yes. But here's the question, though, is that what's going to happen if New York just absolutely circles the drain, goes down the drain? I mean, I'm popping the popcorn, Brian. I want to see the social workers arriving at crime scenes.
I don't wish ill on people. I'm generally trying to do that. But, I don't think it's going to go very well. And I think he'll wear very thin very quickly. And by the time we get to the midterm elections, a lot of what's going to be the arguments that the right is going to make, I think, will be very effective. And they will stick with people because they'll say, look, do you want the rest of the country to be the nightmare that is New York City? Well, okay, and then knock yourself out. We can't do anything about it. But I don't think that's going to, I think it's going to really backfire on Democrats. And as much as I hate what the city of New York is going through and what we'll be going through, I think in the grand scheme of things, it's going to play well for Republicans by the time we get to the midterm.
That's exactly right. I mean, look, we all know what a train wreck Joe Biden was, and look what happened 4 years later. Donald Trump, came into office winning all of those battleground states, winning the popular vote as well. And the reason I believe that happened is, number one, Donald Trump is really good. But number two, Joe Biden and the Democrats were really bad. This is going to be a continuation of that. So,
and do you see anybody in the Democrat Party rising that we say, well, you got to watch that guy, you got to watch that person?
Not a one.
You just don't see it. They don't have a bench. We have an incredible bench, and they have nothing. We have better candidates, and their candidates, can't put a sentence together. Witness Kamala Harris.
Oh yes, no, you're right. Okay, coming up, Brian Wilson joining us. We are going to talk about the government shutdown, and a lot of people saying now that the elections are over from last night. So, Brian, one of the things that folks were saying out there in the commentosphere is that you have a lot of people saying that the reason why the Democrats refuse to work with the Republicans on reopening the government is because the left, actually fearing their base, they were worried that if they reopened the government, that the base would not turn out for these elections that were held yesterday. Number one, do you believe that? And number two, okay, so then do you see the government opening up in the next couple of days?
I do not. I thought we were close. And, when you looked at some of the reporting that's being done there on Capitol Hill, there are Democrats on the left who have decided that they're ready to sort of wind this thing down. But they're going to be motivated now not to do that because they're going to say, we're vindicated. See, the American people are coming our way. Let's just fight on and fight on a little further. And I don't think that they're going to be ready to make nice and to put a nice big bow on this thing and move forward. They're going to make the case that, this is we need to stand up for the people who just supported us in this last little dinky election. So I don't think it's going to get resolved. I could be wrong, but I get the sense that now Democrats are really motivated to sort of hold the line.
Tariffs, Donald Trump's tariffs going in front of the Supreme Court.
You want to know a big story? This is it. I mean, this is a big one. And the Supreme Court will hear the case of whether or not Donald Trump can impose these tariffs. If the High Court, if the Supremes come back and say, no, this is beyond the law, it is going to be a huge hit to his effort to rebuild the world economy. I like what he's been doing with tariffs. It has driven people to to the bargaining table, and the Supreme Court stands in a position where they completely could undo that. And I think it's a close call from a legal standpoint. When you look at the law, I don't know. It could go either way. I don't have a strong feeling about where the court is going to go. A lot of people will listen to the arguments and say, "Oh, well, we got signs, we got signals, we know where they are." I never buy into that stuff. I think you just have to wait for the ruling. The ruling in a situation like this is likely to be very nuanced and complicated. And so, the first headline that you hear, don't necessarily think that's the real take on it. You give it a little time to percolate, because as you get into the nuance of the law on these things, you sometimes find, well, the devil's in the details, and maybe it's not as bad as they thought, or maybe it's not as good as they thought. But there's no doubt about it. The tariffs case is huge for the Trump administration.
Is it going to come down to Amy Coney Barrett and John Roberts?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I would watch Barrett closely.
Yes.
And she seems to be the one that's a little weak on issues like this in the past.
Okay, let's talk about Dick Cheney. I know that you covered Dick Cheney. And just give me your thoughts on him. When the news broke yesterday that he had passed away, my comment was that, you want to look at the current Republican Party with MAGA and Donald Trump. And it is so different from where the Republican Party was when Dick Cheney was the vice president.
Right.
To me, the deal breaker was when he went out there and instead of just, sitting peacefully in retirement, he came out and he endorsed Kamala Harris, actually campaigned with Kamala Harris. So, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. I was awfully quiet yesterday.
Yeah, the Republican Party has changed since the years when W was the president and Dick Cheney was the vice president, and I was Washington, and I occasionally covered the White House. And, I remember Dick Cheney, the first time I think I met him was when I was covering Capitol Hill up there, and he was the lone congressman from the state of Wyoming. Wyoming only has one congressman, because there's more cows in Wyoming than there are people. And apparently cows can't vote. That's what I'm told. So anyway, they had Dick Cheney as their congressman. I always thought he was engaging. I thought he was a smart man. We owe him a debt of gratitude for the way he conducted himself and the way they handled things on the 9/11, the day. A lot of people will look back and say, were we really justified in the Second War? And were there weapons of mass destruction? You're going to hear those debates. I think he's fallen out of favor and MAGA world because of his beliefs, and clearly he is what you would have to say a moderate Republican, and always has been.
What do you think he was thinking, though? Let me just dive a little bit deeper, because I get what you're saying. What do you think was going through his mind when he decided to campaign with Kamala Harris? And of course, we all know Liz Cheney as well. I think that was a big middle finger to the current Republican Party.
Well, it absolutely is. I mean, and we're a little bit divided in that regard. I mean, the vast majority of Americans who put Donald Trump in office, it's a combination of hardcore MAGA people and people who were disenfranchised in the middle, who do not like the direction the country is headed. That's the coalition that put Donald Trump in power. It's a little different than the coalition that put Dick Cheney and George W. Bush in power back in the day.
All right, 7:21. Brian, we got anything else?
No, except to say thank you again to our sponsor here, the Wellness Institute of Nashville, for making this hit every Wednesday possible.
All right, thank you, Brian, and we'll talk again soon. 7:22, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan Jones has the news coming up at 7:30. Joan.
Yeah, Zoran Mamdani has just laid out his financial plans for the city of New York. We'll tell you what they are. Also, if you need to feel a little better after last night's election results, we'll tell you one thing that you could probably do this weekend. Those stories coming up here at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Let me guess, watch the Titans.
That would be no, don't do that.
Because no matter how bad things might be for the Republicans, theoretically, at least we're not the Titans.
And at least they don't play Sunday.
Oh, they don't?
Oh, they don't play Sunday? There you go.
Week.
So something else for you to do. I'm not going to ruin it here, so...
Want to welcome on into the program Matt Van Epps. He is, of course, running now in the general election to be the congressperson for the 7th Congressional District. Matt, always great to have you on. I want to play this, and I've got video for this as well, folks. Real quick, I want to play, this is your latest ad on why you should be the next congressperson. Listen.
I didn't risk my life for this country just to watch career politicians wreck it.
Matt Van Epps, 9 combat tours, true American hero.
Now, I'm on a new mission to bring down prices, create good-paying jobs, and lower healthcare costs for working families. I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message to fight for America, because that's what I've done my whole life.
Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Sounds like a winning slogan, unless you're running for the mayor of New York. I like that message, Matt. How are you?
Hey, Dan. Good morning, sir. Great to be with you. Honored to be on this morning. Doing great, and thank you for playing that. That's what we're fighting for, and I don't think this fight could be more clear now after last night. But the good thing is the values, the things that were voted for last night, are not Tennessee values. We have got to hold the line. I need your listener support. We need to get everybody out there. And the good thing is that we're united. All of my former opponents, now teammates from the primary, we're all united and on one team, and we're going to drive forward to December 2nd.
Let me ask you that, because I thought that was really great of you. I think you and I spoke about this. I can't remember. I know you were on with Murphy's show, but one of the things that you did that I thought was, number one, really big of you, was you got all of your opponents together, and you had, it was almost like, what was it, a bury the hatchet summit kind of a thing?
That's right. Yeah, it was bury the hatchet. So the week after the primary, we reached out to all of the other 10 candidates, and we came together for a happy hour that we planned to be just an hour. It was just the candidates and their campaign managers, and our team bought a hatchet that was more like an axe, and all of the candidates signed it, and we thought it was going to be an hour. We were together for 3 hours, and Dan, since then, I've had a number of talks with those folks. They've reached out to me. We've talked about how we can work together to ensure the Tennessee 7th Congressional District is as strong as possible, and I'm so thankful for them.
Where can I ask, where is that hatchet or that axe?
Well, I have it. We're deciding whether or not we should bury it in an undisclosed location, or maybe we put it up in the office.
Okay, so because you and I have never met, so when I actually, get you to get up early and come into the studio, will you bring the axe?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Would love to do that. Dan, the next time that we talk and I'm on, I'll be there, and I'll have the bury the hatchet with me. For sure.
I think that would be awesome. It's interesting because I covered this the primary and all that kind of stuff, and there were times when it did get a little hinky, and there was some arguing back and forth. Did you find it difficult to be able to form now sort of a coalition of all your former opponents, and now everybody's on the same page? Did you find it challenging to get people to where you are, which is a unified Republican Party in Tennessee?
Dan, honestly, I think it was pretty straightforward because this mission is so important, and it's not about me. It's about all of us. And that's the message we tried to strike in the primary, that this is, as we built a coalition across the Republican Party, as we had over 40 local endorsements, and it ended the primary week with the governor's endorsement, and then obviously President Donald J. Trump, which was amazing. But that coalition that we built, it's a coalition that has to go forward because we are literally fighting to hold the line for America. And I'm so thankful for those folks that are with us now. And we took 52% of the vote in the primary. Well, there's still 48% of folks out there who were with one of my now teammates. And we need all of them now. This could not be more clear as we saw last night. And my opponent in this is as far left as you can get, protesting ICE and the Highway Patrol. And We can talk more about that.
Well, one of the things that you talk about Afton Bain, and of course, I played the audio quite a bit of Afton, and when she posted on her social media that she was got the girl squad out, and we're following, and we're literally the words bullying ICE, and you used that in one of your ads, and I said that it's crazy to think. As crazy as that is, that you used that in that ad appropriately. So it's crazy to think that she could also use that same audio in an ad promoting her campaign. That's how insane the left in this city and in this state are.
Absolutely, and listen, we're pro-growth, anti-tax, fighting to bring down the cost of living, making the American dream affordable again, and part of that is about the safety and security of our families and our communities. I never want it to be where you're with your family and you're walking down the street and you have to feel unsafe. And ICE is doing a critical mission, and the Highway Patrol, listen, the Tennessee Highway Patrol is outstanding. I have friends who are both currently serving there, who are former Highway Patrol members, and they risk their lives every single day to protect us, our families, our community, our businesses. And I'm so grateful for what they do, and we will always stand in support of law enforcement, military, or veterans.
One of the things, and I've been talking about this all morning long, so people have been listening since 5, they know, but Virginia, California, New Jersey, New York, they all voted for Kamala Harris, and that is the mentality of those states. And so I'm not a Danny Downer this morning. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what happens in New York with Mamdani as the mayor. So, to me, I think this is a great opportunity for America to see the consequences, the perils of Democrat rule, because I can guarantee you, and even Democrats, as you know, Matt Van Epps, are saying that this is going to be a disaster for the city of New York. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm sort of, popping the popcorn, and I'm just going to watch and see what happens. Matt Van Epps is joining us on the Newsmaker Hotline. Matt, let me ask you, so one of the things that Afton Bain has said, one of many things, of course, is that you are just, you're beholden to Donald Trump and, all of the usual talking points that we see from the left. But, I will say this. Number one is that Donald Trump is incredibly popular in this state. I'm going to let you answer the question, and then I'll throw out my 2 cents on her attacks on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm so proud of all of the support that we've built across our campaign. I'm so honored to have the endorsement of President Donald Trump. That's amazing. I got to talk to him 3 times over the course of the primary, from the endorsement to the election night win. And America first are the principles and the values that are great for this country, and that's what this race is about. It's about the differentiation between us and standing up for America, for Tennessee values, and what my opponent stands for. I mean, Afton is proudly the AOC of Tennessee. She's been on CNN praising Mamdani, and said that she's running on the same platform as him. And that the contrast there could not be more clear.
No, and I will just add my 2 cents to that, where I think that, being somebody who is lockstep with Donald Trump in this state, and generally speaking, that's not a bad thing. Now, as you travel around the 7th, what are people talking about? What are people concerned about here in the state of Tennessee?
Absolutely. One of the things that we're hearing a lot about, and we've met with business leaders, chambers of commerce, we've met with Farm Bureau. Just last week, I met with 40 farmers, and we're focused on affordability, making the American dream affordable, bringing down costs, bringing down electric costs, grocery costs, healthcare costs, housing costs, and that's what we're going to do. We're taking that pro-growth, anti-tax message forward, cutting red tape so that we can grow businesses in our economy and support families and farmers, and that's so important. I think a note on the meeting with the farmers, which was just I'm so grateful for, and we'll always stand up and fight for our farmers. But row crop farmers have been struggling, and the president's deal that he made last week to open markets for soybeans is a great step. It's an important step in a direction to support farmers, and there's more to do there as well.
One of the things, and I'm reading. I'm reading this about this. Apparently, there's a billboard out there. A billboard attacking Matt Van Epps has appeared on I-40, portraying a black and white photo of Van Epps on a red playground. A vote for Matt Van Epps. Health insurance costs double. Vote no on Van Epps, December 2nd. So this was, of course, apparently paid for by some, I guess it's an out-of-town PAC, whatever it is. But, I mean, I'm going to let you respond to that, so you go right on ahead. I mean, it's obviously a talking point.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're going to fight, and we are fighting to bring down the cost of health care. And I think there's a couple of examples. One is that when the free market is able to thrive, we see what happened in Clarksville with 2 new hospitals going in. It was a market-based decision that's going to be great for consumers. Additional access, that competition is going to drive down costs. It's going to improve care. That's a great step. Additionally, we've been talking a lot about full price transparency in healthcare and how important that is. I've met with several hospital systems now, and we're looking at and thinking about talking about solutions and partnering. And I think that part's so important. It's what we bring. My background in special operations, small business, a state government leader still serving in the National Guard. It's about building teams and coalitions to actually get things done and move the ball down the field. And that's what we intend to do from day one.
Absolutely. And I think that early voting, by the way, folks, begins November 12th. It ends November 26th. And the actual voting day of Tuesday, December 2nd. But are you encouraging folks, Matt Van Epps, are you encouraging folks to come out and vote early?
Oh, yes, please. Please get out November, day after Veterans Day through the day before Thanksgiving, as you said, the 12th through the 26th. We need everyone to get out. And Dan, I cannot underscore this enough, that this election is about turnout. We have to get out and vote. I need everyone out there. I need you to join our team. Website's mattfortn.com, mattfortn.com to sign up as a volunteer. And I ask for your listeners' support. We need it. And together, we're going to get this thing done.
All right, Matt Van Epps. And I got to tell you, this is a critical election, and looking forward to speaking to you and meeting you soon. Matt, and again, I want you to bring in the hatchet. Thank you very much. All right, it is 7:51 on Nashville's Morning News. Don't forget, that is mattfortn.com. Early voting, November 12th to the 26th. Make sure you get out and vote, and the actual voting day, Tuesday, December 2nd.